Production in Autodesk Maya and Substances Painter, which provides an overview of texturing and rendering 3D graphics in the production, beginning with a tour of the interface. Animation Hacks shows how to create and edit basic texture, the material effect on surfaces, and apply smart materials and textures. So let's go ahead and get started with Autodesk Maya and Substances Painter. In this first video, I'm going to talk about a very important thing before texturing, which is how to find and use reference images. If you work in no accordance with reference images, you'll be working with your imagination. The same problem happened when you played image guessing games as you were young. Everybody looked at one cloud, but most of them saw different images. That's because everybody's imagination is not the same. Once you follow your imagination, when people look at your final work, if it doesn't look like what they imagined, they will say this product is either really weird or too ugly to be true, thus it doesn't suit them at all. If we follow reference images, all of us will have one landmark for evaluation. So as looking at the product, everybody will know whether it is beautiful or ugly and how special it is. I'm not trying to make you follow 100% of the reference images, but using them as references will help you become more perfect and your product become better. That's the reason why reference images are very important. Now, the first thing we have to do is to look for reference images. I'm using Google to look for images to project textures. As you can see, there are a lot of images, a load of them. So how can we select some images in the ocean of images as our references? You have to know what you are supposed to do first. You have to imagine what your aircraft will look like. Or the customers or art department give you requirements of the aircraft. You have to follow it to find the corresponsive references. As I have done research, it is an old aircraft, manufactured in the 1930s to serve World War II, so you cannot make it new. The image I am showing you is exactly what I want to make. Since it's an Army aircraft, it has to be made a little bit old to become pretty.
As you can see, we are going to take about this aircraft a little bit and how special it is. A wide variety of materials are used to build the desired appearance of the aircraft. Some of the more common materials and their uses are described in the reference image. The aircraft surface has three components, which are decorative parts such as the application of decals, identification numbers, and letters on the top. Main paint layer in the middle, material surface is the bottom. The matte paint layer is the highlight spot, which is more aesthetics for our aircraft.
The aircraft is not only covered in the old matte paint, but it also has some rust stains on the body. We cannot choose this image because of the glossy paint that is not exactly what I want. We need to have
a slightly rusty aircraft painted very sparsely, stained with some paint spots. It looks like what I thought, and thus suits me.
We are moving down Google pages to see new images.
Let's see some picture to understand our paint and surface, which will help you to build up our visual library in your imagination. You should avoid the rendered images in 3D as you are making a 3D product, but looking over and over again at such images or models or images made into models is like imitating others' rendered images in 3D, not doing it on your own. It's copying others, which isn't bad at all. Learning from others is not bad, but generally speaking, referring to others' images will have a consequently bad influence on your creativity, which once you lack, it's really hard for you to develop, so you had better avoid doing it in the first place. Then you pick a big image. It's completely obvious because if you choose a tiny image, you cannot see the details on it with such low definition. These kind of images are useless for us. We do not need to take time to see it.
For example,
this image is quite small and you cannot squint your eyes to see them.
All you can see is an overall picture or something blurry instead. Last but not least, I suggest selecting images of different materials. But you should choose images made of materials different from what you choose for main reference images. When you choose the different images with various materials on aircraft, which help you to have the big visual library in your eyes. Like, when you look at this image, you will see, compared to the reference of itself, it is old and rough. If it is painted, it will be completely new metal to refer to how different the materials of this aircraft are. For instance, this picture. This one is glossy.
We can see the metallic material which is covered in the airplane. In addition, we can feel it clean and too clean. This is the unrealistic feeling. For example, in nature environment, the aircraft exposed surface have affected by water, dust, dirt, corrosion, and deterioration. The first aircraft you saw is a painted one, but the paint was peeled off, revealing the glossy metal below.
As you can see in the gun top, cabin, and some scratches on the body.
You can save this image to be able to see the metal and use it later to make the details, which helps you enhance the value of your product. Let's go back our glossy version. Because of the glossy material, we're going to understand how we use this kind of material and compare with different versions. In my opinion, I am not interested in this aircraft. I cannot see details that make it special. In summary, the glossy airplane is the good reference image for us.
Moreover, you can learn the image how to build the material such as glossy aluminum.
Or you can also look for an image of a crushed, dirty, old aircraft covered with paint and dust. Even though you cannot simulate such a waste old aircraft, just apply its details to your aircraft.
From this details, we can have the best visual images to create the rusty shader with rust stains for our aircraft.
You can also stick some stains like those on the wings of your aircraft so that its value will be raised. These are some notes you should pay attention to when looking for reference images.
We go back to the main reference image, and I have some advices for you when you are texturing or doing any part of 3D.
I have observed many of you who start the texturing process without looking for any images. I think it's a necessary preparatory step to prevent you from taking risks later and help you work more effectively. So you should invest more time in this image searching step.
We finished the reference research lesson. We will analyze these images before texturing in the next section. Bye. See you in the next section.